You guys are just going to have to deal with the jacket, bro. You guys are going to have to deal with the jacket today. I don't know what's going on here in my studios. It's cold outside and it's cold in here. Something like there's somebody set something up in our with our like thermostats to where they're on some sort of schedule and we keep changing it or trying to change it or whatever, but I guess, this place was empty for like 2 years, so whoever had it set up before, they were just trying to keep the pipes from freezing, I'm guessing, is all that they cared about. But like every night, this is a weird zipper, every night it like drops back down to I don't know, 55, 50, something like that. I don't know what the heck it's doing. But my gosh, dude. It is like cold in here this morning. So I tried turning it up and turning it on when I got in here. I've been here for half an hour and it is not getting any warmer. So normally I would take the jacket off and we could get all comfy and cozy. But unlike some of you that are still in your nice warm beds, I'm out here bracing this cold, folks. And so I'm wearing a jacket during today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind. If you don't like it, I don't give a dang.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Oh my gosh, it's so cold. It's crazy. Dude, today is Monday, December 15th, 2025. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, December 15th, 2025. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible, incredible day. I'm coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky, where it is 3 degrees. That's right. It is 3 degrees. That's a 3. That's a single digit. There's no digit before it. There's no digit after it. It's not like 3 followed by or, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3. No. Just 3. It is a whopping 3 degrees outside. The good news is it's supposed to warm up a little bit. I think we got a high of 20 something a little bit later today. But today is also, in case you didn't know, 10 days until Christmas. That's right. You've got 10 days, my friends, to fulfill all of those Christmas wishes. I have gotten 3 of my kids through our sibling shop. Joel did his sibling shop. So every year I take each of my kids to buy gifts for all of their siblings. And that's what we do on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, the kids exchange their gifts. And then New Year's Day, the rest of the family does their deal. And so Joel has done his shopping for all of his siblings, which is awesome. Yesterday, I took Oakland. She did her shopping for all of her siblings. And Willow, I've taken Willow and all of her. She did the shopping for all of her siblings. So I've only got 4 kids left to go. I've got 10 days and 4 kids. I feel like I'm actually ahead of the game a little bit this year. But we have 10 days until Christmas. Now, we also have 17 days until 2026, okay? If you're counting, just reminding everybody this morning, which, by the way, tag your friends, hit the share button, do all that good stuff. We have 17 days until 2026. Hi, Allison. Allison, I don't know if it's a surprise or not, so maybe I won't say that, but let's just say she really believes in her team. Allison really believes in her team, and she is taking her team into 2026 in a powerful way, and I'm super proud of her. Allison, I'm super proud of you. Thank you for being here. So 17 days until 2026. Now, we also have 735 days till Glenn Lundy's 50th birthday. Now, that doesn't really matter to any of you, but it does matter to me. I'm tracking this because I made a promise to my wife, and I now have 735 days left to deliver on that promise. It's also 5 days, a whopping 5 days, until my 48th birthday. I will be 48 years old on Saturday. Thankfully, for a guy who loves movies, the new Avatar movie is coming out on Friday night as a celebration of my 40th birthday. James Cameron, they decided they would go ahead and release Avatar the night before so that I could roll into age 48 with an incredible movie. I'm assuming it's going to be an incredible movie. I hope it's an incredible movie. So anyways, 5 days until my 48th birthday. So this week, we're doing a series called Cheers to Almost 50 Years. Cheers to Almost 50 Years. And what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to 1977, and then we are going to work our way up. From 1977, we're going to work our way up to 2025, to remind ourselves how far we've come, and probably, maybe equally as important, maybe more importantly, to extract the lessons that we should have learned along the way. That's what we're going to do this week. Cheers to almost 50 years. But before we do all of that, you know what we got to do on this show. You know we got to do some dancing. Oh, look, I got a big hole in the back of my jacket. Look at that. Man, my wife would be so upset if she actually watched this show. She would be so upset to know that I left the house with this jacket. Big old hole in this jacket. But it's warm, bro. That's what matters. Hey, we got to get our bodies in motion. Objects in motion stay in motion. That's right. An object in motion stays in motion. Object at rest stays at rest. So we got to get moving. If you are out on a run right now, hopefully it's warmer there than it is here. If you are out on a run right now, step it up a notch. Pick up the pace. If you are in the gym, which is where I'll be here in just a little bit. If you are in the gym, a little extra weight will do you good. A little extra weight, a couple extra reps will do you good this morning. If you are overseas, maybe you're like my guy, Richard Bruce, over there on the other side of the country, man. Just do some dancing wherever you're at, man. Dance with them babies, all right? Dance with them babies. Maybe you're over in Costa Rica. Maybe it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. Just get going wherever you're at. Maybe you're in the car with your kids. Hi, kids. Thanks so much for being here. Let's do some dancing. Come on. Get your body in motion. Fair enough? This is also the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you, yes, you, to hit that share button. All right? To hit that share button. Because I believe, I think I already said that, but I got distracted by Ramon's comment right there. Yeah, duct tape. Okay. You're going to need it. All right? But hit that share button. Sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you, yes, you, to hit that share button. All right? This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up, and I will say what's up back. West Storm, good morning. Thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Mr. Mike Larkin is in the building. Thanks for being here, Mike. Tony Schmidt is in the building. What's up, Tony Schmidt, with that resting, smiling face? How you doing, Antonio Barbosa? Great to see you this morning. Marilyn Wilkin is in the building. Valerie Stone is in the building. Richard Bruce, my man, is in the building. Paul Brindley is in the building today. Don Sankey. Ramon Ray. How do I come up with these themes? Ramon, I actually... 2 weeks from now, I will write the themes for all of next year. So I write out, I take a session in the morning and I write out 52 themes, 52 weeks of themes. Now, it's not rigid, it's flexible, we can change. But I'll write out 52 weeks of themes, and then when I go into to do the show, I'll be like, what's the theme for the week? And then if that feels right and it feels relevant and everything makes sense, then we'll write from there. If it doesn't, we just switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Tony Thorstad, good morning. Great seeing you here as well. Wendy Reeves. Good morning, Wendy Reeves. How you doing, Sarah Green? What's up, Tom Popelka? How you doing, Maria Lynn? Alexandria Nicole. Jeremy Nowling is in the building. Scott Simons. Boom. What's up, Scott Simons? Great to see you. Angela Hastings in the building. Justin Collins, my man, and his miracle baby. Let's go. I love it. Is in the building. Malika Carey is in the building. Let's go, let's go, let's go. To all my replay viewers, make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you say good morning. Make sure I have the opportunity to say good morning to you. Don't just pop in, pop out. Facebook's being weird again, just so you know. Valerie Stone, there's way more people in this room than what it says up there in the corner. Facebook is so weird, man. But thank you all for being here. For those of you that are watching on replay, make sure you say what's up. Make sure you let me know you stopped by. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Real quick, kind of shifts the energy just a little bit. But this is really important. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. And right here. All right. So unfortunately, there's a guy by the name of George Hernandez, and George was born in 1991, I think it was, or 19. He's much younger, early 30s, and unfortunately, George wasn't feeling well at work last week. He wasn't feeling well on, I believe it was Wednesday, and he wasn't feeling well, and he went home. And when he went home, he laid down, and unfortunately, for those of us that were left behind, George did not wake up from that nap. That was his last time. And so George was somebody that I hired. I met him at Value City Furniture when I was buying furniture for my parents' house. I invited him to come work at the dealership, and he came and worked with me over at Dan Cummins. He went from salesperson to sales manager, or he was a triplet for a while. Then he went into a sales manager role, and he's been very supportive in the growth of the Dan Cummins group. He's a sales manager over there at their Georgetown store. But this is a guy who just worked his butt off, man. He just recently built a beautiful home in Paris, Kentucky. He has two babies, a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and he had just gotten engaged. He had just gotten engaged to the mother of his children, and they were preparing to get married. And so I bring this to the table because this young lady, George's was going to be wife, her and her babies are going to need all the help they can get. So if you are a person that could help, I greatly, greatly would appreciate it. You can just go to GoFundMe, I guess. Look for support for George Hernandez's family, posted by Dan Cummins Auto Group. You can find it that way. You can go to Josh Cummins' Facebook page. He's got it there. I'll end up sharing it out on my page after this show. But if you could support it, Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky, they are matching all donations. So all donations to George and his family will be matched by Dan Cummins, Josh Cummins over there at Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick. They'll be matching everything. All right. So if you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. George was a really, 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 really good guy. He was just a really, really, really good guy. So, okay. Put the link on your page. Yeah, I will. I'll share it out on my page. But like I said, for right now, like if you want to do it right now, George with a J, George Hernandez, and the GoFundMe is put together by Dan Cummins Auto Group, and they will be matching all of those donations. So I'm glad that George is in the right, like in the good place, because George is a great guy and he deserves to be in a great place. His wife and kids obviously will face challenges, many, many, many challenges moving forward. And that's the unfortunate part, man. It's a sad thing for those that are left behind, an amazing thing for those that get to go on that journey, go be in heaven. And George, he was such an amazing, amazing dude. He worked hard. He really cared about his family. He was just one of those guys that put his head down and got the job done. I loved him. His family is just incredible. So if you could support him, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. Let's make our way back to the show. All right. So 1977. There you go. Scott Simons put the link in there. Thank you, Scott. In 1977, gas was 65 cents. Telephones had cords. And for those of you that lived, that are around me, people that are like me, cheers to 50 years and beyond, most vehicles had ashtrays in them. And most of those ashtrays were actually getting used. Oh, my goodness. This week, we raise a glass to nearly 50 years, not just 50 years lived, but 50 levels unlocked. Not just nearly 50 years lived, but nearly 50 years of mistakes being made, nearly 50 years of victories earned, nearly 50 years of you and I being molded and shaped. And for those of you that aren't nearly 50 years yet, you will be one day, so hang in there with me. Nearly 50 years of lessons learned. Because listen, if we want to know where we're going, we have to understand where we started. You realize, like, when you use GPS in your vehicle, or when you map something out on MapQuest, I don't know if anybody does that anymore, or when you plug anything into Waze, at first you have to allow it to have your current location. Otherwise, it can't give you directions on where to go, right? So we have to know where we are in order to know where we're going. And that's why this week, this series is going to be really, really important. Every day this week, we're going to dive into a different decade. So Monday, we'll do 77 to 87. Tuesday, we'll do 87 to 97. Wednesday, we'll do 97 to 07, 07 to 17, and 17 to 26, where we're headed to soon. And we're going to break down the culture, the technology, the fashion, the emotions, the triumphs, the struggles. But most importantly, we're going to extract the lessons that we can use and we can apply in our lives today. So today, let's go back and let's start where this whole thing begins, right? Let's start in 1977. This is the late 70s, my friends. The late 70s and the early 80s, they were a bridge, a transition between old America and something brand new. You see, at the time, America was feeling this post-Vietnam uncertainty. There was economic inflation going on at a level that people weren't used to. We're more used to it now in today's day than we are back then. But there was an economic inflation going on. And there was this deep desire for unity and joy after what was really a tough decade. It was a tough decade. Now, see, I was just a baby at the time, but my dad and my mom, I hear stories of that particular season, especially with my dad being black, my mom being white. You know, if you remember, Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement was happening in the late 50s and the early 60s, and we were just starting to come, schools were just starting to be desegregated, and the world was just kind of shifting. Like, that was a really tough season. Vietnam War, people were being drafted, a lot of people going to war, a lot of lives being lost. And so in the late 70s, they were coming off of that, right? There was a lot of trauma. My mom told me, I don't want to say tells a story, but told me a story of her. My dad was in the military, he was in the Army, and when she would travel, when they would put her on a plane, to travel, to move to whatever places, there were times where they didn't believe that my sister and I were her kids because our skin was brown and her skin was white. Now, for those of you that are mamas in here, just imagine being a mama with two babies. Imagine going to get on a plane and the security detail are thinking that you're kidnapping your own children. Imagine the pain, the anguish, the frustration. Imagine the anger. I'd be so mad. But that's what this country was coming off of, right? And so it really started this rise because it was such a traumatic season. There was this new rise that started happening. It was the rise of community entertainment, like arcades. It was the rise of TV shows. It was the rise of music videos. You see, during this particular season, the United States of America was a country that was searching for hope. Kind of like many people are today. If you think about it, we're coming off a very traumatic season. COVID was a very traumatic season for all of us, and there's a lot of things that have been going on in the world that have been very traumatic, especially now that we have more visibility and access to all of it. And so this particular season, coming off Vietnam War, where everyone was searching for hope and they started leaning into community, reminds me very much of the season that we are in right now. What's up, Mike Strong? People had the big hair because though the world seemed and felt dark and gray, they chose brightness anyway. They just chose to be big and to be loud and to be bright. It's interesting how that works, right? So I ask us right now in this particular season, what if we chose joy louder? What if instead of feeding into the negativity? What if instead of if it bleeds, it leads mentality? What if we chose to live the next decade of our lives boldly, unapologetically, and brightly? Like, what if we just brought light into the darkness? You know, it's interesting because this particular season, technology was actually really primitive, but at the same time, people started to feel like it was limitless. You see, 1977 was the year the Apple II released. Not iPhones, not AI, not supercomputers, but this was like a beige box with 4K of memory that used to cost as much as a used car. This was also the season that the VHS tapes entered the world. This was the season that arcades began exploding across America. And in 1985, Nintendo brought us Mario, Duck Hunt. Home gaming all of a sudden became a thing. And here's what I find super interesting about this season, because literally, if you look back or if you lived through any of it, this technology was not it was not perfect. It was not flawless. Like your Nintendo, you had to stick in. Do you remember sticking in? You put the cartridge in, and then you push up and down, bop, 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 and then you pull it out, and then you have to blow in it, and then stick it back in, push it up and down, bop, 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 and hope that it would turn on. Like, do any of you guys remember doing that with your Nintendo? I mean, this technology was not perfected, yet they rolled it out anyway. And it reminds me, in today's day and age with the AI, the same things kind of happen in the same way. People are just kind of rolling stuff out, which is great because you don't need perfect tools to create a powerful future. You see, the greatest innovations came from people with almost nothing, but ultimately they had limitless imagination. And so what I take from that is, dude, you and I, we have to stop waiting for more. We have to stop waiting for more money, stop waiting for more time, stop waiting for more approval, stop waiting for more clarity. The future starts with what you have right here today. The future starts with who you are right here today. The future starts right where you're at right now with your big imagination and your big bright smile and your choice to choose joy and to be aligned. Keep going. And if that music's too loud, I can turn it down just a little bit. Make sure you can hear okay. There we go. Hopefully that's better. This is also the decade that birthed legends like Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and Prince and Run DMC and Journey and Madonna. Like, music truly became a movement in the late 70s and early 80s. This was a way to express who you were and who you dreamed of becoming. And what I love about this season, this really, really amazing season of music, what I love about it is music became a way for people to share their voice. It became a way for politically, people shared their voice. It became a way for emotionally, people shared their voice, right? And it's just a reminder to me today, and it should be a reminder to you, that your voice matters. Your story matters. And your expression, the way that you feel Like you need to express yourself, whether it's through music, through dance, through stages, through speaking, through books, through writing, through leading, through working, through crafting, through whatever. Like whatever you're feeling like you need to express yourself, that's a part of your calling. And unfortunately, as we learned from George last week, we don't know how many days left we have to fulfill this calling on our lives. So I'm here to tell you today, dude, you were not meant to blend in. You were not. You were meant to raise your voice, and to lead, to share your story, to stand out. What is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is the impact that you can make on others. So listen, late 1970s, early 1980s, this is the world that I was born into. And it was a world that was changing fast. It was a world that was unsure of itself. It was a world that was trying to heal. It was a world that needed voices. It was a world filled with leaders and bridge builders. And even though my childhood wasn't easy, this world prepared me. You see, growing up biracial in America, growing up moving, searching, adapting, growing up learning how to read the rooms, how to navigate differences, ultimately how to survive, that decade shaped my identity, helped me become resilient, observant, determined. Everything that I am today was planted in that very first decade. And here's what I love about that, because there's decades we're going to go into that were not my favorite times of life. But for you and for me, the lesson that we can take away from all of this is your beginning doesn't define you, it refines you. Your beginning doesn't determine who you are or the outcome, but ultimately it prepares you to become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. So listen, when I look at this decade, if I was going to give you the quick little clip notes, joy is a choice, especially when life is heavy. The 70s and 80s taught us to celebrate loud. It also taught us that innovation doesn't require perfection. Big ideas always start small. It's a reminder that culture shapes us, but we choose our identity. Your environment is not your destiny. And I think last but not least for me, you and I were created for such a time as this. Your upbringing, the good, the rough, the confusing, it was all training for a bigger mission. So as we walk out of here today, I want you to reflect on that first decade of your life. What did that first decade plant in you? Like what lessons, what strengths did that version of you learn that still serve you today? Think through that, journal through that, honor where you came from. You see, the decade that I was born into was imperfect. My mom, my dad, imperfect. My sister, imperfect. My stepdad, imperfect. All of my family members, all those that came before me, imperfect. And so am I, and so are you. And so is this world. But ultimately, those imperfections is what makes us children of God, the God of the universe, the God that knows everything. And God uses those imperfections to prepare the path that I've been on for nearly 50 years, the lessons that I've been able to learn for nearly 50 years, all prepared, all by design. Nearly 50 years of lessons to be grateful for. So tomorrow we're going to move into 1987 to 1997, a decade of adolescence and awkwardness and discovery and hip-hop and video games and school years and life-changing moments. But until then, let's look at that first decade of our lives with gratitude, extract all that we can, and use it to become the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. Does that sound fair? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. I'm going to head on over to Clubhouse. Facebook has been super strange today, so I so hope that you hit that share button and you tagged your friends. I'm going to go hang out on Clubhouse as I try to find some warmth on my way over to the gym. But ultimately, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll do it all over again. Have a great day. Peace.